Vartu priyam raniritis mapasyam. Krishna sutanam swapatam shiramsi. Upaharati priyameva tasya. Jugupsitam karma vigarhayanti. Yadamrite korvavashrinjayanam. Virishavato virakatim gadeshu. Vikodaravitakadavimarsha. Pagnorudante Dhritarashtraputre. Vartu priyam draniriti snapasyam. Krishna sutanam swapatam shiramsi. Upaharati priyam evatasya. Jugupsitam karma vigarhayanti. Pagnorudante Dhritarashtraputre. Vartu priyam draniriti smapasham. Krishna sutanam swapatam shiramsi. Upaharati priyam evatasyam. Jugupsitam karma vigarhayanti. Yadamrite koravashrinjayanam. Virishtato viragatim kateshu. Vikodaravitakadavimarsha. Pagnorudante Dhritarashtraputre. Vartu priyam draniriti smapasyan. Krishna sutanam swapatam shiramsi. Upaharati priyam evatasya. Jugupshitam karma vigarhayanti. Is there anyone online who would like to chant the verse?
Damriti Karavashrinjayanam Nirapato Viragatim Gateshu Virkuta Pravidagadabimarsha Bhaknorodande Dhritarashtraputre Vartu Priyam Draniti Svapasyan Krishna Shutanam Swapatam Shiramsi Upaharati priyameva chasyam siddham karma vikarhayanti. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Divi Bhakti. I think there's somebody in the room.
Yeah, I got to remember to point at the microphone. Okay, pointing at the microphone and seeing over it into the words. Okay. No, Jagavinda, I don't think it needs to go up any. Jagavinda, don't. Yada, when, Rite, in the battlefield, Kaurava, the party of Dhritarashtra, Shinjayanam, of the party of the Pandavas, Vireshu, of the warriors, Ato, thus, Viragatim, the destination deserved by the warriors, Gateshu, being obtained, Rikodara, Bhima, the second Pandava, Avida, beaten, Gada, by the club, Abhimarsha, lamenting, Bhagda, broken, Urudande, spinal cord, Dhritarashtra Putre, the son, Putre, I'm sorry, I didn't do that very good. Dhritarashtra Putre, the son of King Dhritarashtra. Bharatu, of the master. Priyam, pleasing. Draunihi, the son of Dronacharya. Iti, thus, sma, shall be, pasyan, seeing. Krishna, Draupadi, Sutanam, of the sons. Swapatam, while sleeping. Sri Ramsi, heads. Upaharat, delivered as a prize. Vipriyam, pleasing. Eva, like. Tasya, his. Jugupsitam, most heinous. Karma, act. Vigarhayati, disapproving. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimasen, the son of Dronacharya, Ashvatam beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered them as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Transcendental topics of the activities of Lord Sri Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam begin from the end of the battle at Kurukshetra, where the Lord himself spoke about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendental topics of Lord Krishna. The Gita is Krishna Katha, or topics of Krishna, because it is spoken by the Lord. And the Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha, because it is spoken about the Lord. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to be informed of both Krishna Kathas by his order. Lord Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna himself in the garb of a devotee of Krishna, and therefore the versions of both Lord Krishna and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Now, this is in italics in the book here, so that must be extremely important. Lord Chaitanya desired that all who are born in India seriously understand such Krishna kathas. The italics end there. And then, after full realization, preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the stricken world. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Shri Tamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So interesting, pivotal point in the Bhagavatam here. We've had a lot of introduction about the importance of and the reason for it from the point of view of the author of it. And we have, now we're going to start to tell the story. And I mean, yesterday we got that point that Sutta Goswami says, now I shall begin the transcendental narration. That was yesterday. So today it is like, here's where we're at. Once upon a time, when the respective warriors of both camps, so it's the time, once upon a time moment. And so the respective warriors of both camps are there, and this is therefore setting the point of in the battle of Kurukshetra time. So here we are at a very dangerous moment of human history. All the great warriors from the known world were assembled. It was in the millions, and they were actually at this point, there's already been some fighting going on, and there's been some dreadful cheating, breaking of the code of kshatriyas happening on the part of various people. So Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture on this verse in Vrindavan in 1976, and one of his, interesting, the printing didn't print at all. One of his points that he used was to point out how, he didn't tie this to it being the end of Kali Yuga, but he did point out that there's, the Varnashram system is breaking down. He's pointing out that Drauni, who is of course Ashvatthama, is another name for Ashvatthama because of his father's Drona. So he's pointing out that he was born in a Brahmana family, but he decided to be a Kshatriya instead. And Srila Prabhupada equates this to a degradation. So he's degraded to Kshatriya, and then he degrades again to even what's a dishonorable act for a Kshatriya. So a degradation is starting to come. And even in this very famous battle, which is, you know, almost good against evil, almost like if there is a righteous cause, this was a righteous cause, but there's degradation happening even here in this. I was at a house program the other night, and it was pointed out, it was mentioned that, you know, for certain groups, different aspects of Krishna consciousness are, there's a different need to give up something. And the group that we were meeting with, it was like giving up eating fish was difficult for some of their members, like a decade ago when they had, you know, given up fish. Water, vegetables, fruits of the ocean, right? And another common difficulty to give up, that devotees can be completely following everything except for tea, right? That's another thing that's sometimes very hard to give up. Tea, you know, chai. And so what I was having, I'm a third generation vegetarian, none of that was hard to give up, but for me, all this blood and gore was hard. Blood and gore and fighting, that this was hard to, yeah, anus, yeah. This was the hard thing to swallow, to make the big change in my life. Because I was like cooperative games only, you know, but when you really look at life, is that practical? You know, like, can we have peace unless there is, can we have law-abiding behavior? Maybe let's not call it peace, let's call it law-abiding behavior, unless there's some consequence, right? So, you know, school teachers for the last decade have been, the method that they use to maintain order in the classroom is the threat of evicting the ones who are not participating properly in the class. And unfortunately, about, you know, within the last 10 or 20 years, there's been court cases where parents have been able to prevent teachers from expelling their children. And if you can't expel the children, then you've got the chaos in the classroom and there's nothing you can do about it. And instead of learning, you will be spending the time managing the chaos or trying to manage the chaos. And so, you know, at some point there has to be some kind of like, okay, enough is enough. You are now going to be sidelined from something. Either you're going to be expelled from school, or you've done some criminal behavior, you're going to be locked up, or you've done some very criminal behavior, you're going to lose your life. Many countries of the world no longer do capital punishment. I was definitely against capital punishment, but we are taught here other aspects, like that perhaps it's a benefit to the individual if it's properly done. Who knows if nowadays it can be properly done, but if it's properly decided, it can be a benefit to the individual to have, to lose that freedom even of the use of their body and get the karma right then and there, rather than spread it over the next lifetimes. So that could be a blessing. And it's very much pointed out that even the warriors in this battle of Kurukshetra, right in this very verse, we have this Viragati concept, Svarga Dvaram, the door to heaven, right? And Bhagavad Gita mentions that too, right near the beginning. Krishna is saying to Arjuna that, you know, it's not a problem. The door to heaven is open for everybody that dies on this battlefield. And so, in the verse, it's interesting too. It's like, it says, the dead warriors, so there's our subject of the sentence, the dead warriors obtained. How does somebody who is dead obtain anything, right? But the point is that their bodies are dead. They're not dead. They're going on to a glorious destination. So this is a concept that was difficult for me in the past. And I remember one time in Winnipeg, we made the most adorable Lord Nrsimhadev play. It was so sweet. Devotees wrote it, did background music for it. The kids were Prahlad and Brahma. Brahma was 4 kids back to back, so it had 4 heads. And it was just the most charming version of Lord Nrsimhadev's play I have ever seen. Some of the kids' grandparents came to that play, and and they were like, "Why does it have to be so violent? This is for children. Why is it violent?" And for me, the Lord Nrsimhadev play doesn't seem violent anymore. It seems, a justified end for a villain, right? And we also know he's not really a villain. He's asked to play a villain. So, but to somebody just watching it for the first time, oh my God, it's very violent. So, in his lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave on this verse, he points out that a couple of things. One is that within the Kshatriya code, there wasn't fighting to a point, it was fighting to the end. You fight till one of them dies and that ends it. And that one gets heavenly, heavenly planet access, and the other one gets whatever they were fighting about. So it ends, it doesn't go on and on and on and on. And Srila Prabhupada points out that fighting is not always bad. Sometimes you need to, but it can't be whimsical. It has to be following the rules and in Dharma Yuddha. And so in this time and place where our story starts, there were rules of behavior for warriors. And unfortunately, Ashvatam didn't even follow those rules. So obviously, we know there's going to be some consequence for this. In our terms nowadays, if there's somebody that commits a crime against me, our rules only allow, like the rules of the country, the rules of Western civilization, only allow me to take action against that person that's dangerous to their life if my life is already threatened. Otherwise, I have to leave it to the courts and the police and the people whose authority it is, right? That's what being not whimsical and following the rules is for us. Like we had a couple of years back, an election that in the States that some people didn't like the result of, and so they picked up, weaponry and marched and tried to do it by force, and that's not following the rules according to today's rules. So fighting is not always bad. Fighting to the death is not, getting to the point that somebody loses their life over this is not always bad, but it can't be whimsical. It has to be following the rules, and the rules that we pretty much all set up is that I don't get to make the rules. I have elected representatives who can make the rules, and they apply them according to the rules, not according to what I would like or not like. So one of some of the words that Srila Prabhupada uses for today's version of fighting: hooliganism, vandalism, Gundaism, and points out that that's not what was going on back here, although it was starting to degrade. Some of the proper behavior was starting to get lost. So in his lecture, Srila Prabhupada also, on this very verse, also points out the pivotal moment of this and how it impacts, how it is really the start of the Srimad Bhagavatam, because there was a moment here where Arjuna and Ashvatam were both fighting each other with brahmastras, which were not supposed to be released on regular humans. However, the situation had gotten out of hand, and there they were with brahmastras. And so the authorities instructed them both to withdraw their brahmastras, and Arjuna knew how to do it. So he pulled his back. Ashvatam, however, did not know how to pull it back. He only knew how to release it. His training was not complete. And so he, rather than withdrawing it, which he didn't know how, he sort of tried to get his way and yet sort of obey the instruction by diverting it. So he was able to divert it, but he chose as the object of the destination, the target, is now Uttara, with the baby Parikshit in her womb. And his idea was, let's get rid of the last remaining descendant of the Pandavas here. And Krishna had to step in and protect the baby in the womb, protect the mother, and stop the Brahmastra. And that's very significant, and it turns out, because that baby is the one that ended up sitting on the bank of the Ganges, hearing this whole Bhagavatam narration from Sukadeva Goswami. So this is the kind of the day it all started. So the once upon a time moment, it starts here. Okay, what else did Srila Prabhupada have to say when he talked about it? Srila Prabhupada brought up that Balaram and Krishna both were neutral in the Kurukshetra war. Now we don't usually think of Krishna as being neutral in it because he was there, but he was there in a different role than a warrior. He did not actually, was not supposed to pick up arms, and he never picked up a normal weapon throughout it. And Balaram, of course, he was like disgusted with the whole thing and went away. Balaram did, though, try to talk to Dronacharya, to talk to Duryodhan and Bhima, because they were like a head-to-head competing pair, and he tried to calm them down by saying to Duryodhan, like, you're really strong and you're really well trained, but you're not as strong as Bhima, so you probably won't win. And to say to Bhima, you are strong and you are also really well trained, but you're not as well trained as Duryodhan, so you may not win. Why can't you just stop? Why can't you both just cool it? Why don't you all just stop? So Balaram tried that, and Srila Prabhupada says that both Duryodhan and Bhima just, looked down and didn't say anything, which is in those days the way you would disagree with an elder, with a superior. So Balaram and left. So Srila Prabhupada thought that was an important thing to bring up while talking about this verse. Srila Prabhupada also spent a fair bit of time in his lecture on this verse talking about honesty, and honesty being a characteristic of a Brahmana, and how important it is to be true to our word. He also points out to become a Brahmana and then surpass that by becoming a Vaishnava. Brahmana is one thing, but even more important is to become a Vaishnava. So that was, I did print out the lecture, and it turns out it's not quite all there. It starts in the middle, but Srila Prabhupada also went into the whole story of how Gandhari gave Duryodhan a body of iron, but 1 week's fought, and how the secret was revealed about that week's fought. And so through all this, there was various aspects that were not according to the code of the Kshatriyas. So I think that was his point, is that degradation was starting to appear in lots of aspects. So when he finishes the purport of this verse in the Bhagavatam by saying that Lord Chaitanya desired that all who are born in India seriously understand such Krishna kathas, and then after full realization, preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world, that will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the stricken world. So again, we're seeing the care and compassion of Prabhupada, of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Krishna, for the problems that the human populace is having. So that's about what I wanted to say today. I know there'll be comments in the room and online.